Hello, everybody. Welcome back to assignment number 7 for A Raisin in the Sun. I'm going to be reading the second half of assignment number 7. I'm going to be picking up in the really unfortunate part of the play when Walter has just come to realize that the money that his mother gave him is gone. He has lost that money. How? He gave it to Willie Harris and to Bobo in order to go down to Springfield and spread the money around, right? Now the question becomes, how much of the money did Walter give to them? Now remember, Mama had $10,000. She put $3,500 down as a down payment for the house, right? She had $6,500 left. She gave all of it to Walter, and she said, you do with it what you see fit, but $3,000 of it, I am asking and demanding that you put it into a savings account for beneath the school. She said, you take the other $3,500, make a checking account for you, and you're in charge of the money. You decide what comes in and what goes out. Now, she did tell him not to give that money to the business. She said, it's not for the business. She said, but then again, she kind of didn't, right? She said, I don't want to do the business. But then she said, here, take this money, do with what you see fit. Now, what if Walter saw fit to start the business with it? Now, clearly, Mama should have put that $3,000 for beneath the schooling into a savings account by herself, but she trusted it with Walter, and she told him to do it. So the question becomes, did Walter do that? Did he at least put that $3,000 into the bank for beneath the school? So at least that they don't have to worry about making up that money. Because remember, how do they pay for beneath the school? By working very hard. You know, Walter works, Ruth works, Mama works. Did he give all that money? I surely hope not. And did he give all the $3,500 even? Maybe he only gave $500 or something to go spread around. Also, my question, why didn't he go with them, with Bobo and Willie down to Springfield? The answer is because he trusts them. These are guys that he knows, and he believes he can trust them with his future and his money. Bobo said Willie never showed up. And by the fact that Bobo, the way he looks when he shows up at the door, haunted, frightened eyes, he won't look at Walter. He'll look a little bit at Ruth, and he's talking kind of to her, but he won't talk to Walter. Why? Is he afraid of Walter? Is he afraid of Walter's reaction? Maybe that's why he has haunted and frightened eyes. Maybe he's afraid of Walter's reaction. I don't know, but we're going to have to wait and see. So let's pick it up. Walter said, then tell me, God damn it, what's the matter with you? Bobo, man, I didn't go to Springfield yesterday. And then this is interesting. Walter halted, life hanging in the moment. Listen to that phrase. Life hanging in the moment. He now understands that his entire future depends upon what this man says. Because if this man says the money is gone and stolen, well, then he has lost all his father's insurance money. Well, except for, thank gosh, the $3,500 that Mom put down on the curtain. If it's all of it, but we don't know how much it is. If he hadn't have given it to them and hadn't opened up a business, would it have been a big deal if Walter had simply had $3,500 in a banking account and a checking account? Remember, we said that that would probably be about $60,000, $70,000 today. Would it be a big deal if somebody had $60,000 or $70,000 in the bank that they had just in case they needed it for emergencies, for fun, for life, for presents, for whatever? And the answer would be it's a huge deal. If it's all gone, then what does that mean? Because, of course, I didn't have no reasons to. Walter, man, what are you talking about? Bobo, I'm talking about the fact that when I got to the train station yesterday morning, 8 o'clock like we planned, man, Willie didn't never show up. Why? Where was he? Where is he? Bobo, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't know. I waited 6 hours. I called his house, and I waited. 6 hours. I waited in that train station 6 hours, breaking into tears. That was all the extra money I had in the world. Looking up at Walter with the tears running down his face. Man, Willie is gone. Okay, so I ask you this. If Willie took their money, which it looks like he did, was Bobo part of that? In other words, is Bobo also robbing the Youngers? And the answer to that is clearly no. And the answer is, and the reason why I can say that with such definity is because he's here. He's crying. He's upset. If he had stolen that money, he would be gone just like Willie Harris is gone, never to be seen again. And he also just said he put all his money in the world. That was all the extra money I had. So Bobo is also in the same position that Walter and the Youngers are now. All their savings gone. looking up at Walter with tears running down his face. Plus, he's crying. A grown man crying. I think it shows you just how affected he is and just how real this is. Man, Willie is gone. Well, Walter, gone? What you mean Willie is gone? Gone where? You mean he went by himself? You mean he went off to Springfield by himself to take care of getting the license? He turns and looks anxiously at Ruth. You mean maybe he didn't want too many people in on the business down there? He looks at Ruth again as before. You know Willie got his own ways. He looks back to Bobo. Maybe he was late yesterday and he just went on down there without you. Maybe he's been calling you at home trying to tell you what happened or something. Maybe he just got sick. He's somewhere. He's got to be somewhere. We just got to find him. Me and you got to find him. He grabs Bobo senselessly by the collar and starts to shake him. We got to. Okay, Walter has just realized. And you can see that he looks to Ruth, because he now knows he has not just let himself down. Oh, it's much worse than that. He has let down the family. And who is the person that's going to be the hardest for him to talk to about this, to tell that this happens to? Of course, it's going to be Mama. How is he possibly going to tell Mama that he lost the money? We just got to find him. Me and you got to find him. Grabs Bobo senselessly by the collar and starts to shake him. We got to. Hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me about that. We just got to. Bobo suddenly, in sudden, angry, frightened agony. What's the matter with you, Walter? When a cat take off with your money, he don't leave no road maps. Walter, turning madly as though he is looking for Willie in the very room. Willie, don't do it. Please don't do it. Man, not with that money, man. Please, not with that money. Oh, God, don't let it be true. He is wandering around, crying out for Willie and looking for him, or perhaps for help from God. Man, I trusted you. Man, I put my life in your hands. He starts to crumple down on the floor as Ruth just covers her face in horror. Mama opens the door. Oh, my gosh. Mama wasn't even there. Mama doesn't even know the situation. Mama and Benita are about to see it. So think what they just came into the room. Think when they left, what was going on when they left. Walter was running around singing about having wings. All your God's children got wings, going to go to heaven with my wings. He was in the height of his jubilation and elation, the height of living his dreams and looking forward to living those dreams. They go into the room. They come back in 5 minutes later. And what do they see? Look, he starts to crumple down on the floor as Ruth covers her face in horror. So Mama opens the door and comes into the room with Benita behind her. So she sees her son, who a second ago was as happy as could be, probably happier than she's ever seen him. And now he's on the floor, crumpled down. And she looks over at Ruth, and she's Ruth covering her face in horror. So automatically, Mama knows something is really, 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 really wrong. He starts to pound the floor with his fist, sobbing wildly. That money is made out of my father's flesh. Think about what Mama just heard her son say. That money is made out of my father's flesh. Now, it's a very interesting statement that he made, and it's a metaphorical one, of course. It's clearly not made out of his father's flesh, but symbolically it kind of is, right? Where did that money come from? From his father's hard work. And they said that his father died early, right? And he had this life insurance policy. And the mom even said he came in every day and he had the hardest time. And, you know, when our son died, Claude died, it ate him apart and it ended up killing him. But he had one dream. And what was that dream? That he got that his family would have a home. And here was the chance for the family to have all of that. And what did Walter do? Walter lost the money. That money is made out of my father's flesh. Now, that's what Mama just walked in and heard her son say. So I bet you she's right away knows something is wrong. OMG. Bobo standing over him helplessly. I'm sorry, Walter. Only Walter's sobs reply. Bobo puts on his hat. I had my life staked on this deal too. So Walter is on the ground crying right now. And Bobo leaves. He has also lost his future, he thinks. He exits Mama to Walter. Son? She goes to him, bends down to him, talks to his Ben Hen. Son, is it gone? Son, I gave you $6,500. Is it gone? All of it? Benita's money too? Now, Does Mama know in her heart of hearts? Does she instinctively know the answer to that question? I believe she does. And the way she is able to answer that question without Walter doing it and know the answer to it and know in her heart is by watching Walter. The fact that he is on the ground crying, that he is so upset. And his answer, I think Mama already knows. Mama knows that that money is gone. And Walter's answer, lifting his head slowly, Mama, I never went to the bank at all. Mama, not wanting to believe him. You mean your sister's school money? You used that too, Walter? Yes, all of it. It's all gone. There's total silence. Ruth stands with her face covered with her hands. Benita leaned forlornly against a wall, fingering a piece of red ribbon from the mother's gift. Mama stops and looks at her son without recognition. Did you hear that? Mama stops and looks at her son without recognition. She doesn't recognize this man in front of her. I mean, she does. She knows this is her son, but the way she's looking at him is as if he's a different person. Listen, quite without thinking about it, starts to beat him senselessly in the face. So Mama goes over to her son on the ground. Remember, he's on the ground. He's crying, and she starts to beat him senselessly in the face. Guys, that's serious. That's how angry she is. And Walter, by the way, is allowing himself to be beaten. That's how angry he is at himself. Benita goes to them and stops it. Mama! Mama stops and looks at both of her children and rises slowly and wanders vaguely, aimlessly, away from them. So now Mama has seen all that her husband has worked for have been given away in a day. I've seen him night after night come in, look at that rug, and then look at me, the red showing in his eyes, the veins moving in his head. I've seen him go thin and old before he was 40, working and working and working like somebody's old horse, killing himself. And you give it all away in a day. She raises her arms to strike him again. I want to read that again. Listen, I seen him. She's clearly talking about who? About Walter Sr. She's talking about what he did in order to make that money for his family, what he suffered, what he gave up. I've seen him night after night come in and look at that rug and then look at me, the red showing in his eyes, the veins moving in his head. I've seen him grow thin and old before he was 40, working and working and working like somebody's old horse, killing himself. And you give it all away in a day. She raises her arms to strike him again. Benita, Mama! Oh, God. She looks up to him. Look down here and show me the strength. Mama. Mama folding over. Strength. Benita plaintively. Mama. Mama. Strength. So Benita is very upset as well. But right now she's mostly worried about her mama because she sees what this has done to Walter. It has broken him. Imagine if Mama gives up right now. Because remember, what keeps this family together? What has kept this family together this entire play and probably before it and long after? It is Mama. She is the glue that holds this family together. And without that glue, this family breaks apart. Think about who pays for Benita's school, right? Who helps Walter and Ruth with their new baby, right? I mean, without Mama. So if Mama gives up right now on life, the family is in for it badly. And Benita recognizes that right now. She needs her mama. She needs her mama strong. Curtain. All right. That's the end of this scene. Let's go pick up the next scene. Act 3. This is an hour later. Okay. So 1 hour has passed since that awful revelation, that awful news that their money has been stolen by Willie Harris. You could also say given away by their son, but he didn't mean to do that. Let's all be clear with that. I want to make very clear about that. Walter didn't give the money away and just say, here, take it. I don't want it anymore. That's different. Some people do things like that, by the way. They give their money away rather than share it with their family. Or they do crazy things with it, go on a vacation, go gamble it, something like that. He didn't do that. He did. Let's talk about what he did in his heart. He gave that money away so that he could open his own business, so that he can become successful and he can share it with the family. And I know that is a fact because I remember the dream that he shared with Travis. Do you remember that? The night that the day that Mama gave him that money and he sat with Travis and Travis said, "Are you drunk, Daddy?" And Daddy said, "I ain't drunk. I ain't never going to be drunk again." And he sits down with Travis and he explains to him his dream. Do you remember what Walter's dream was? Do you remember that? That he was going to be a businessman, that he was going to be a CEO, he was going to have cars, that he was going to have a secretary, that Travis was going to be able to go to any college that he wanted to. So that was how he felt after having that. But now, think about how things have changed. So how is Walter dealing with this 1 hour later? So since this time period, since this hour has passed, we have gone from the height of happiness to the lowest you could possibly be at the bottom. Now, again, how does specifically this family stay together? That's exactly how they stay together, by staying together. They need to be strong for each other. Act 3, an hour later. At curtain, there is a sullen light of gloom in the living room, gray light not unlike which began the first scene of Act 1. At left, we can see Walter within his room, alone with himself. He is stretched out on the bed, his shirt out and open, his arm under his head. He does not smoke. He does not cry out. He merely lies there, looking up at the ceiling, much as if he were alone in the world. So, it sounds like Walter has given up. It sounds like Walter has given up on life. He's not doing anything except staring up at the ceiling. Again, if you give up on life, if you give up on trying, then things break apart at that point. And how does this family stay together? Not by breaking up, not by giving up. They have to be strong for each other. He does not smoke. He does not cry out. He merely lies there looking up at the ceiling, much as if he were alone in the world. In the living room, Benita sits at the table, still surrounded by the now almost ominous packing crates. Now, in the beginning, in the morning, remember the packing crates were a symbol of happiness and of moving forward into life, into this new life, into their dreams. Now, the packing crates are ominous. Why? Are they even still going to move now? I don't know. Now, should anything have changed? Can they still move into this new house? Absolutely, they can. They still will have to work. Mama's going to have to keep working. Ruth's going to have to keep working. Walter's going to have to keep working so that they can make up the mortgage payment each week. They're also going to have to keep working to pay for Benita's school, right? Because that money is gone now as well. So all their money is going to go either to the rent for the new house or to Benita's school. Why stay here? What would be the point of that? They would stay here if they give up, right? If Mama, now remember, Mama has to remain strong somehow. She has to push through this. She has to keep this family together. So the question is, how do they deal with this news now? Are they going to give up on each other and on the life, or are they going to fight even harder for each other and for their futures? Let's see. She sits looking off. We feel that this is a mood struck perhaps an hour before, and it lingers now, full of the empty sound of profound disappointment. Listen to that. An hour ago, they were excited and happy, moving forward, giving gifts. Everything was great. Now, she is looking into space, and listen to how she's described. We feel this is a mood struck perhaps an hour before. We know what happened an hour before, and it lingers now, full of the empty sound of profound disappointment. So now their lives... And now beneath, all she feels is profound disappointment, not happiness, not joy, not excited for her dreams or for her future. No, now it's quite the opposite. Listen, we see on a line from her brother's bedroom, the sameness of their attitudes. Just like Walter has apparently given up in his room on life and his future. OMG, it sounds like Benita has given up as well. Now, does that mean she's given up on buying the house? We're going to find that in a minute. Is she going to fight for the house or not? Question, could it possibly mean that she's given up on medical school? I hope not, but let's see now as well. We see on a line from her brother's bedroom the sameness of their attitudes. Presently, the bell rings and Benita rises without ambition or interest in answering. So she's just kind of like a zombie now, walking around without ambition or interest. It is Asagai, smiling broadly, striding into the room with energy and happy expectation and conversation. This is now the second time Asagai has showed up at the Younger household after really bad news, right? The first time, do you remember what we had just heard when Asagai showed up? Ruth was talking to Mama and Benita, and Ruth just said what? Right before Asagai showed up on that Saturday morning while they were cleaning, that she was thinking about aborting and destroying her baby in her womb, right? That's when Asagai showed up. Seems like Asagai has good timing, and I'm saying that sarcastically, but there is a reason why, by the way, that Asagai, it's a symbolic reason, but it's also a good reason that Asagai shows up now. Why? They need him now. They need somebody who is full of energy and expectation and conversation and life. Asagai, I came over. I had some free time. I thought I might help you with the packing. I like the look of packing crates. A household in preparation for a journey. It depresses some people, but for me, it is another feeling. Something full of the flow of life. Do you understand? Movement, progress. It makes me think of Africa. So he just said, he saw the packing crates and he said, oh, great, this is exciting. We're in the middle of a move. This is a big deal because you're moving up. You're moving forward. You're beginning a new dream and you're going to go live that dream in your future. He says it makes him think of Africa. Now, Benitha, he doesn't realize what has happened. He doesn't know that the money has been lost. He didn't even know that there was any money. He doesn't know that Benitha has seemingly given up as well. Let's see how he deals with her. Benitha. Africa? What kind of mood is this? I told you how deeply you move me. He gave away the money, asked a guy. Who gave away what money? So, I mean, she doesn't even give him any exposition or description. That's how upset she is about it. She just straight up says, he gave away the money, asked a guy. And he says, who gave away what money? The insurance money. My brother gave it away. Gave it away? He made an investment with a man even Travis wouldn't have trusted with his most worn out marbles. And it's gone? Gone. I'm very sorry. And you? Now? Me? I'm nothing. Me? When I was very small, we used to take our sleds out in the wintertime, and the only hills we had were the ice-covered stone steps of some houses down the street. Hold on, I just want to point out, she just said she's nothing. Was she something, and I'm going to ask this before even ask the guy does, was she something a month ago before the money ever showed up? And the answer was yes. She was herself. She had dreams, desires, a future, and love. How has that changed right now? Let's continue. Let's see. She's telling us a story, by the way, of how and why she wanted to become a doctor. Why is she telling us this story now? Is it because she's now thinking about not becoming a doctor? I don't know. Let's see. And we used to fill them in with snow and make them smooth and slide down them all day. And it was very dangerous, far too steep. And sure enough, one day, a kid named Rufus came down too fast and hit the sidewalk. And we saw his face just split open right there in front of us. And I remember standing there looking at his bloody open face, thinking that was the end of Rufus. But the ambulance came and they took him to the hospital and they fixed the broken bones and they sewed it all up. And then the next time I saw Rufus, he just had a little line down the middle of his face. I never got over that. What? That was what one person could do for another. Fix him up, sew up the problem, make him all right again. That was the most marvelous thing in the world. I wanted to do that. I always thought it was the one concrete thing in the world that a human being could do. Fix up the sick, and make them whole again. This was truly being God. You wanted to be God? No, I wanted to cure. It used to be so important to me. I wanted to cure. It used to matter. I used to care. I mean, about people and how their bodies hurt. Wait, stop. Listen to what she said. I wanted to cure. Wanted, which means past tense. So she doesn't want to cure anymore. It used to be so important to me. I wanted to cure. It used to matter. I used to care. I mean, about people and how their bodies hurt. So I guess, and listen to Ask Guys, the same thing I'm thinking right now. Wait a minute. You don't care about people anymore? Your brother went and lost some money, and now you don't care about people anymore? Those two things don't equate. It sounds like Benitha is using her brother losing the money as an excuse to do what? As an excuse to quit trying. Because remember, in life, your dreams aren't, they're not guaranteed for you. You've got to work. Remember, I told you that in the beginning. My wife and I have so many dreams left still. I have dreams left for after my career as a teacher. I still don't know what I want to do. I know I want to get another. I want to travel the world, right? But that's not going to come to me just being handed to me. I've got to work for these dreams, right? So is Benitha now saying that she's not going to work anymore for her dreams, that she's just going to give up? That doesn't sound very Benitha-like. Let's continue. And you've stopped caring? Benitha, yes, I think so. Ask the guy, why? Benitha, bitterly, because it doesn't seem deep enough, close enough to what ails mankind. It was a child's way of seeing things, or an idealist. So now she's saying, I was dumb when I was a kid and I thought that I could make a difference. That's just kid thinking, that I can't make any kind of difference. And the answer to that is, of course she can make a difference. Not for nothing, but okay, Walter lost the money. Yes, he did. It's gone. You're not getting it back. But if Benitha continues and becomes a doctor, which, she was doing the medical school without the money. They've been working hard to pay those bills. They can keep doing that. If Benitha actually becomes a doctor, which she can and should, are their lives going to get better? In other words, will they be financially secure? And the answer is, heck yeah, Benitha's going to do quite well. Much better than they do now. Much, 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 much better. And is Benitha going to share that money with the family? Of course she is. That's the way this family works. So why quit? And again, the answer is because she's using this as an excuse to not have to work so hard, to not try. Ask the guy. Children see things very well sometimes, and idealists even better. I know what you think, because you're still where I left off. You with all your talk and dreams about Africa. You still think you can patch up the world, cure the great cure the great sore of colonialism, loftily mocking it with the penicillin of independence. Yes. So Benita looks at him and says, see, you're still thinking that you can make a change in the world. You still think that one person can make a difference in life. And Asagai's answer is yes. Asagai knows that he can make a difference in the world. I mean, think about it. I'll go back to it. If Benita becomes a doctor, will she make a difference in the world? The answer is not only for her family will she enrich the family and herself, but think about all the people that she can help, right? Think about all the Black people in America at this time who don't get to see good doctors, who are not allowed to see good doctors. She can help them out as well. So think about all the things that she can do for people and how she can help the people that she wants to help and herself. The independence, and then what? What about all the crooks and thieves and just plain idiots who will come into power and steal and plunder and do the same as before? Only now they will be Black and do it in the name of the new independence. What about them? And Benita points out, okay, you think you can make a difference, right? You think you can make a difference, Asagai, but here's what I'm saying. You can't, because after you make any changes, there's going to be bad people who are going to come along and they're going to try to change your changes back. Just like Willie Harris came and changed our changes back. He took our goodness and he made it bad. And Benita is saying it's not worth trying because somebody's just going to come along and change it back. And Asagai's correct response is going to be, wait a minute. We don't quit in life because it's hard. We don't quit in life because things might go badly. That's when we have to work even harder. Listen, Asagai, that will be the problem for another time. First, we must get there. And where does it end? End? Who even spoke of an end to life, to living? See, there you go. Benita says, where does it end? In other words, when do I get to be comfortable and happy and not have to deal with all this crap, this oppression, this hatred, this racism, this prejudice? And Asagai says, she says, when does it end? And he says, end? Who even spoke of an end? I think Asagai is going to tell her it's never going to end. I mean, hopefully in America, it will get better, right? And by the way, this is the 50s. Do things get better in America as time goes on? You know, in the 60s, the civil rights movement, it starts to. Are things perfect? Gosh, no. But if people gave up and stopped fighting, then it would always stay that way. So you've got to keep fighting for what is right. You know, you've got to protest. You've got to stand up for the rights of everybody. You've got to do this. You can't quit because it's tough or because bad things might happen. Listen, beneath an end to misery, to stupidity. Don't you see there isn't any real progress, Asagai? There is only one large circle that we march in around and around, each of us with our own little picture in front of us, our own little mirage that we think is the future. So beneath it just described life as a circle and that there's no way. It always keeps going back to the beginning. And Asagai is going to say no. If everybody believed that, think about it. Imagine if Martin Luther King had allowed himself to think about all the crap that Martin Luther King went through, being arrested and beaten and all this awful stuff that happened to him. He never quit because, again, if he had used this mindset, what Benita's doing, this, it can't change. I'm just going to quit right now. Think about how far back we would still be. And that's the guy saying, and he's going to tell her, you've got to keep fighting no matter how hard it gets. We've got to keep fighting for what's right. And Asagai is so right. In fact, he's going to give himself as an example. Asagai comes from Africa, and he is in America studying to be a doctor. Think about how huge that is. Imagine if Asagai were to quit. Think about it. When Asagai becomes a doctor, he's going to take that medicine, not the medical knowledge and medicine, back to Africa, and he is going to help people who really need it. What you just said about the circle. I'm sorry, Asagai. Let's continue. That is the mistake. Benita says, what? What you just said about the circle. Remember, a circle means you start at one spot and you always come back to the same spot. And Asagai is about to tell her that is not how life works. You've got to keep moving forward in a line. You cannot allow yourself to get stuck in that circle and stay in that rut, right? You've got to move forward. Listen, what you just said about the circle, it isn't a circle. It is simply a long line, as in geometry, one that reaches into infinity. And because we cannot see the end, we also cannot see how it changes. And it is very odd, but those who see the changes, who dream, who will not give up, are called idealists. And those who see only the circle, we call them the realists. And he's saying, the better person are the people who don't see it as a circle, because if you see it as a circle, you're going to trap yourself within it. You're never going to allow yourself to get out. He's saying you've got to make it a line. You've got to be an idealist. You've got to think about what it could be, and you've got to work for what it could be. Ask the guy. While I was sleeping in that bed there, people went out and took the future right out of my hands. And nobody asked me. Nobody consulted me. They just went out and changed my life. Ask the guy. Was it your money? What? Was it your money he gave away? It belongs to all of us. But did you earn it? Would you have had it at all if your father had not died? No. Oh, that's such a good point. I love Ask the Guy. Think about what he's about to point out to her. He said, if your father didn't die, would you have had that money? And the answer is no. I mean, and here's the question. Would you rather have your father here, still alive, or that money? And the answer would, of course, and always be, I'd rather have my father here. So if the father didn't die, right, and he was still there, and they didn't have that money, would Benita still have a future? And the answer is, of course, she would still be going to medical school. So what he's pointing out is, how can you give up on your life over money that it wasn't even a guarantee in life, that you would rather have had the man rather than the money? I'll tell you right now, I am worth, I think I said it before, I have life insurance on myself and there's life insurance on my wife. I don't want the money. I want my wife. And I'm sure she would say, I hope she would say the same thing, that she wouldn't want the money. She wants me, because the money doesn't love you back. The money doesn't help you. It doesn't talk to you about your dreams. It doesn't, it doesn't take care of you when you're sick. OMG. Then there isn't something wrong in a house? In a world where all dreams, good or bad, must depend on the death of a man? I never thought to see you like this, Aleo. Your brother made a mistake, and you are grateful to him so that you can now give up on the alien human race on account of it. Oh, I love that statement. Your brother made a mistake, and you are grateful to him so that now you can give up the alien human race on account of it. In other words, now that your brother made this mistake, you're going to quit. Now that your brother made this mistake, you're not going to have to go through the hardness anymore. You're using it as an excuse. You're using it as a way to get out of the hard life. You talk about what good is struggle. What good is anything? Where are we all going, and why are we bothering? And you cannot answer it. Ask the guy shouting over, I live the answer. Pause. In my village at home, it is the exceptional man who can even read a newspaper, whoever sees a book at all. I will go home, and much of what I'll have to say will seem strange to the people of my village, but I will teach and work, and things will happen slowly and swiftly. At times it will seem that nothing changes at all, and then again the sudden dramatic events which make history leap into the future, and then quiet again, retrogression even, guns, murder, revolution. And I even will have moments when I wonder if the quiet was not better than all that death and hatred. But I will look about my village at the illiteracy and disease and ignorance, and I will not wonder long. So what he's saying is, he could also quit if he wanted to, right? But when he goes and he looks at his village at home and he sees illiteracy and disease and ignorance and poverty, that's what causes him to realize that he needs to step up and work his hardest. Now, he's admitting, maybe what I do isn't going to make the biggest of changes, but it will change something, and it will mean working forward to a better future. But if he quits the way Benita is contemplating doing now, then what does that mean for him and for his people? It means he's certainly not going to get any better, and it means those things will not be changed. The illiteracy, the disease, the ignorance, and the poverty. And he's saying, I will do whatever I take to start to fix that. And everybody in this world needs to step up and start to fix it. You can't quit just because something goes wrong. You always have to keep moving forward. And perhaps I will be a great man. I mean, perhaps I will hold on to the substance of truth and find my way always with the right course. And perhaps for it, I will be butchered in my bed some night by the servants of my empire. And he says, I'm not going to stop fighting for it. He says, maybe at the end of my life, what I did will have really made a big difference. Maybe someone's going to murder me because I'm trying too hard. But you know what? I am going to do what's right, and I'm going to work for betterness. I'm going to work for the future. I am not going to give up on my dreams. I'm not going to let somebody else defer my dreams. Basically, right now, Benita is allowing her brother to defer her dreams. Or no, that's not fair. That's not right. Not her brother, but the happenstance, the circumstances of this to defer her dreams. And she's making a choice, by the way. She's choosing now to quit going to medical school and to quit caring about her future and her life and her family. She's making that choice. And Asagai is saying, no, you can't ever make that choice. You must always fight and continue on. Asagai, he smiles. Or perhaps I shall live to be a very old man, respected and esteemed in my new nation. And perhaps I shall hold office, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, Aleo. Perhaps the things I believe now for my country will be wrong and outmoded, and I will not understand and do terrible things to have things my way or merely to keep my power. Don't you see that there will be young men and women, not British soldiers then, but my own black countrymen, to step out of the shadows some evening and slit my then useless throat? Don't you see that they have always been there, that they always will be? What he's saying is Asagai's a pretty intelligent and symbolic man. And what he's saying right now is, I understand that there is risks in everything we do, especially for you and I, who are out there and going, and trying to become a doctor in this time period with all this hatred. And yes, there are people that are trying to stop us. And yes, there are people that are trying to hold us back. But you know what? We don't quit because they want us to quit. We don't stop because there's people against us. They who might even kill me even actually replenish all that I was. Well, Asagai, I know all that. Then stop moaning and groaning and tell me what you plan to do. Beneatha, do? I have a bit of a suggestion. What? Rather quietly for him, that when it is all over, that you come home with me. Beneatha staring at him and crossing away with exasperation. Oh, Asagai, at this moment, you decide to be romantic? All right. I don't think she understands what he just asked her. I think he just said, not only should you not quit, I have an idea that's going to not only help you to realize your dream, but it's going to help you to realize an even better dream. Why don't you come home to Africa with me when this is all over? In other words, when you finish medical school and I finish medical school, we get married, we go back to Africa, and we become doctors in Africa. Think about how much those two could help in that society, coming in with that kind of knowledge and love. And that's what he's offering to her. So he's saying, not only should you not drop your dream, but let's go even bigger with your dream. Gotta love Asagai. Unfortunately, that's where we're stopping for today. That is the end of assignment number 7. OMG, we're almost done with this play. It's too bad. I could keep reading this for another 20 assignments. But we only have one assignment left. And here's the question. And this is a big question. Are the Youngers going to be okay? Is Walter going to be okay? Is Mama going to be okay? What's up with Ruth and the baby now? Don't tell me she's contemplating an abortion again. Is she contemplating aborting that baby again? Possibly, because Walter has given up again, because they don't think they have a future. So here's the things that we need to ask and find out. Are they still going to be moving? Is Beneatha still going to get the house? Is Beneatha still going to stay in medical school? Is Ruth still going to have this child? Is Walter going to be okay? All right. Is Mama going to be able to keep the family together? Is Travis going to be okay? Is Travis going to have something that he can live for as a dream for the future? Because imagine this, if Travis sees his father and his aunt just give up completely. If Travis sees his father just give up, stop working, stop caring, stop doing anything. And then he sees his aunt, who he's so proud of and should be, who's a medical school. I mean, do you think they brag, by the way, to people that my aunt's in medical school, she's going to be a doctor? Heck yeah, they do. I hope Ruth, you shouldn't brag, you get my point. But do they talk her up? You know they do. You know they're proud of her, as well they should be. So how is Travis going to react to the idea that his father gave up? His aunt gave up? What about if his grandma gives up, or his mother gives up? What message does that send to Travis and his future? And the answer is, it sends him the message that there is nothing to work for. There's nothing to care about. So think about how bad that would destroy Travis and how it would destroy his future, his dreams. Oh, there's so much to find out. So we have one assignment left. We'll have 2 readings, and we'll find out. Let's hope that everything works out well for this family and they stick together. You guys and gals all have a great day. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow.